breakdown of the family is the single greatest catastrophe in our world today. Terrorists are not going to do us in. Atomic bombs aren't going to do us in. But the breakdown of the family will mean the destruction of society and the world as we know it if something isn't done. Therefore, the greatest need of our day is the solidification of our families. But in order to solidify the family, to make it cohesive and functional, everyone in the family has to play their role. We've lost a valuable line of communication in our families because we no longer have time for supper. We replace the supper table with fast food. Not healthy food, good food, just something quick and effortless. We now depend on Pizza Hut or the Colonel to cook for us. We hit the drive-thru on the way home from work, or we fly into the house and grab the telephone and place an order for junk food. And because we've abandoned the supper table for junk food, we have created junk families with no energy, no stamina, and no joy. We've neglected God's design, and we're paying the price. We're losing our marriage or our relationship with our kids, our ministry, and our service to God because we traded them all for the fleeting pleasures of this world. Mom and Dad, listen to me. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. You're going to stand before God, and you're going to give account to God for the way you have done your family. So if your family needs fixed today, fix it now. Fix it now. God has given to all of us the information that we need to be complete and to be fulfilled, but it's the direct opposite of what we're being taught by our society. Our world has groomed us to believe that happiness comes through selfishness. Get what you want. Get what you want out of life. Be what you want to be out of life. But God teaches us that happiness and contentment comes from giving ourselves to our family. God tells us in the book of Ephesians what we as members of the family are supposed to do for each other. God said, husbands, love your wives, just like Christ loves the church. Wives, submit to your husbands as you would unto the Lord. But that's not all that those verses are saying. Those verses don't just simply tell us what we're to do, but more importantly, they reveal to us what we all need from each other. When we live as these verses command, life will work and our families will work. When we fulfill these verses, men are happy and women are happy and parents are happy and children are happy. God made us in such a way that we can't exist, function, or succeed without each other. We need each other to reach our potential as a family. We have to learn to serve each other. I was raised in a godly home. God blessed me. We not only attended church when there was church, but God was in our home every day. My mom and dad lived what they professed. In our home, the Bible was sacred, prayer was constant, and God was primary. I didn't know any other way. My mom and dad lived every day for Jesus. I never once saw them come home drunk. Never once did I see my dad hit my mother. Never once did I hear them curse and swear at us kids or at each other. I never knew them to lie or to cheat or to steal. But what I witnessed from my parents was so Christ-like and it was so constant that I came to believe that the way we lived was normal. I thought that everyone lived like we did. But as I grew older and I went to school and I spent time in the homes of my friends, I soon learned that other homes were sometimes different. And that not everybody who claimed to be a Christian was Christ-like. I'm grateful to my parents because I know that without them doing the job they did in my life, I would not be standing here before you today as the pastor of this church. This is the result of my mom and dad. Now, I was a good kid. I'll let you digest that for a while. I was a good kid. I say that bragging, not on me, but on my mom and dad. Because initially, I was a good kid because I feared the consequences if I was a bad kid. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Don't let anybody kid you. Fear is motivating. It's motivating. I stayed out of trouble because I knew that there would always be consequences when my mom and dad found out. And I want you to know my mom and dad always had a way of finding out. They had eyes and ears everywhere. I feared my parents, especially my dad. How many of you feared your dad? My dad beat me all the time. He beat me at checkers. He beat me at Monopoly. He beat me at marbles. But my dad, whom I feared and respected, never physically beat me. He occasionally spanked me, but I got to tell you, I could count those spankings that I received from my dad on one hand. But he never beat me. He never beat my brothers or my sister. He never beat our mom. But there were rules. There were things that we were allowed to do, and there were things that we were not allowed to do. There were parameters set, and there were always consequences if those rules were broken. But what made it all work was our mom and dad loved us, and we knew it. We knew it. They would do anything for us to be a blessing in our life. A lot of people thought that we were rich because of how my mom and dad took care of us, but we weren't rich. We were just first among mom and dad's priorities. They loved on us, and they talked to us, and they listened to us. They had time for us, and when there wasn't time, they created time. Mom and dad's social life didn't come before us. They didn't drop us off at the babysitter so they could go out and play on the weekend. Their habits didn't come before us. They didn't put us in bed early so they could get their drink on. Their hobbies didn't come before us. Their work didn't come before us, but we were always first priority in their life. That's how you do a family. The breakdown of the family is the single greatest catastrophe in our world today. Terrorists are not going to do us in. Atomic bombs aren't going to do us in. But the breakdown of the family will mean the destruction of society and the world as we know it if something isn't done. Therefore, the greatest need of our day is the solidification of our families. But in order to solidify the family, to make it cohesive and functional, everyone in the family has to play their role. The husband and father has to play his role as the spiritual leader of the house. The wife and the mother has to play her role as the helpmate to her husband and the source of love and compassion to her children. Parents must play their roles as managers of their children, fighting Satan over the custody of their children's souls. And it won't work if one of these components is missing. It is a battleground, folks. The family's not a TV sitcom and it's not a Hollywood movie, but the family is a battleground. Do you sometimes feel like you and your child fight a lot? Do you? Young children battle with mom and dad because they want a new toy. Mom and dad battle back because they don't want to buy the new toy. Teenagers battle with their parents because they want to do what the other kids are doing. But mom and dad battle back because they don't want their teenager to turn out like the neighbor kid. And as godly parents, we can't compromise, but we have to be ready to do battle and fight for our family. I know sometimes it might feel like you're fighting with your family, but the truth is you are fighting for your family. To make it even more difficult, our society has reversed the roles of parents and children. If we would rewrite Scripture today, by today's standards, it would read, parents, obey your children. The roles that God established have been inverted. We've now given grown-up authority to immature and inexperienced boys and girls who have no idea what to do with the power. So they do what those who are bent on destroying the family tell them to do. They mimic the behavior of movie stars and rock stars. They're listening to the ramblings of some maniac song lyrics or the bad advice of some politician who's trying to be elected, and now they're out of control. Maybe you haven't noticed, but in our society, there's been a marked decrease in parental authority and a drastic increase in children's rights. I was sitting at the hospital the other day, and Dr. Phil was on. Dr. Phil's a quack. This is on TV. Good. Had a lady on there, had a 6-year-old boy, that she was raising him as a girl because that's how he identified. He's 6. I'm wondering if he wanted to be a pirate, if she'd raise him as a pirate. There's a right for children in the area of self-determination to do what you want to do, not what you're told to do. There's a right of children in the area of sexual expression. There's a right of children to not fall under the authority of their parents. So if you're a child at home in today's society, you're being encouraged by a godless culture that's telling you to rebel against God's structure for your home and for your family. That's why you as a parent, your fight isn't with your children, but your fight is with those who are trying to pervert your children. You are fighting for your family. Listen to me here. There's a biblical principle that is always at work. What you sow, you will also reap. If you're an adult now, living in your own home with your own children, but you were rebellious when you lived with your mom and dad, you may now be living out the payback of your teenage years. What you sow, you will also reap. I believe that God has a sense of humor. I'm convinced that he will always allow us to raise at least one child that is exactly like us. You have one, don't you? Exactly like us. You look at that child and you see yourself. You listen to him and you hear yourself. You know when you have a child like that because grandma and grandpa are looking at you and they're looking at that kid and they're just smiling. How do you like it? We're living in an age when the roles in the home have been reversed. The structure has been inverted. Everything has been turned upside down, but most people are now accustomed to living that way. That is what the normal is. So when somebody comes along and says we're going to do the family God's way, they're looked at it as though they're some sort of troublemaker. The Bible teaches us that if we don't have structure, then we have nothing at all. It's structure that makes everything work. It's structure that makes everything function at its highest level. Structure aligns us with God's plan for our home and for our family. Without structure, we have nothing. Without structure, there is dysfunction. Without structure, the marriage falls apart, and the home falls apart, and the family falls apart. And as the family goes, so goes our world, because it's all in the family. Now, I want to say something here about children. Ephesians chapter 6 instructs us that there are two things that every child should give their mom and dad. If you're a child, write this down. Need a pen? All right, pay attention. All right, this for kids. Two things that every child should give their mom and dad. You might not be a husband or wife. You might not be a father or a mother, but I guarantee you that every one of you here today is somebody's child. And as somebody's child, God requires you to give to your parent or to your parents two things. There are two things that every child owes their parents, and there are two things that every parent desires from their children. And God says that those two things are obedience and honor. Now, I'm sure that this will raise some questions in your mind. How obedient do I have to be? How much honor do I have to give them? What if they were lousy parents? What if they were ungodly parents? Or what if I'm an adult now and I'm living in my own home? So do those requirements change when I become an adult? Ephesians 6:1 says, children, obey your parents. It doesn't say parents, obey your children. But we have a lot of that today, don't we? Take a trip to the mall or the grocery store, watch as children make demands and their parents bend over backward trying to make their child happy. Take a look at the teenagers at the local school and take note of the kind of things that mom and dad have bought them in order to keep them from rebelling. Cell phones and iPads and laptops, sports cars, $100 tennis shoes, $100 blue jeans. Does your child really need what you give them? When I was young, cell phones and personal computers were unheard of. Blue jeans were $5 a pair, and tennis shoes were canvas Converse, and cars were bicycles. Seeing all of these things that are on the market today and the exorbitant prices that they bring, if you walk through your local mall and look around, you'll soon realize that the only people who can afford all of these expensive gadgets are kids who don't have jobs. Paul distinguishes between the role of the parent and the role of the child. He doesn't want anybody to get this confused. God has designed everything in his divine wisdom, but it's Satan's plan to disrupt God's design. There's a move in our world today to reverse the roles of God and man. The Bible says that God is a separate entity and that he, as the one and only God, is in charge of everything. He is the supreme being. But there's a move today to make man his own God and to usurp God's role and God's authority. But Satan is doing the very same thing in the home. When we confuse the role of the parent with the role of the child, we will also confuse the responsibility of the parent with the responsibility of the child, and then God's design breaks down and we have a mess. The Greek word translated here is thekna, which means all offspring. Nobody's exempt. All children are to obey their parents. And then he gives us two reasons why. He says, obey them in the Lord. You can't skip this part. This is important. What he's saying is, obeying your parents is comparable to obeying God. Let me put it in another way. When a child rebels against his parent, God views it as rebellion against him. That's why under Old Testament Jewish law, disobedience to the parents was a capital crime that was worthy of death. By the way, that didn't change in the New Testament. Read Romans chapter 1, and the Bible lists us the sins that are worthy of death. So when you raise your hand in the face of your parents because you don't want to obey, God looks at it as though you were holding your fist up to his face. When you say to your parent, I'm not going to do what you ask, you're also telling God, God, I don't care what you think either. When there's rebellion against the parent, it is also rebellion against God, and there will be dire consequences. Listen to this verse, Proverbs 1, verse 8. Hear, my son, your father's instructions, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. God wants children to obey their parents. Proverbs 10:1 says, a disobedient child brings grief to their parents. unhappiness and destruction to his father. Chapter 17 and 19 warn us that it can disgrace an entire family. And so children, the word is obey your parents just like you would obey God. You may not want to, you may not like it, you might not agree with it, but you are the child and they are the parent, and that is God's arrangement. Live with it, get used to it, don't fight the structure. If you want God to bless you and you want God to bless your home, then you have to obey mom and dad as you do the Lord. That's what the Bible says. Obedience is the role of the child. This is a spiritual issue. This is a theological issue. So if you're giving your parents grief, if you're rebelling against them and giving them a hell on earth, you are rebelling against God. If they say yes and you say no, it's rebellion against God. If they say do it and you say I'm not gonna, you're rebelling against God. If they tell you to do it, but you not to do it, but you do it anyway, you're rebelling against God. You are obligated to obey your parents as unto the Lord. This is a story behind the story of the prodigal son. The prodigal son was rebellious against his father and God's structure for the home. And God didn't take it lightly. God stripped that rebellious son of everything that he had and made him wallow with the pigs until he came to his senses and decided that he needed to go home and take the blame and the responsibility for the things he had done. Some of you are still wallowing with the pigs. You've been stripped of everything you have. Your life is a mess because you've been rebellious against God and against your mom and dad. The prodigal son had to apologize to his father. And he had to take responsibility for his rebellion and to ask his father for forgiveness and then be willing to absorb the consequences of his actions. But this is also why his father come running out to meet him. And he put his arms around his son because according to Jewish law, that prodigal son should have been stoned to death. And I'm certain that there was a whole neighborhood full of people who already had rocks in their hands who were waiting to do it. The idea of your neighbors wanting to kill your kid is nothing new. But his father protected his repentant son from the consequences of his rebellion. But I need to point this out. He only did it after his son repented and had taken responsibility. Now, the word not only says obey in the Lord, but it also says it's right. The modern version of this is parents obey your children because it will keep peace in your home. But the issue isn't whether you have peace in your home, but the issue is whether you have a biblical home. If the only way you can have peace is to obey your children, then you have no structure. God can't and he won't bless your home. If you have a mess, you're dysfunctional, and what you believe to be a house of peace will someday fall like a house of cards. Because even though you might not be arguing and fighting, you have a house of chaos. The literal translation is obey your parents, for this is righteousness. But that raises the question, how long do I have to obey my parents? I no longer live at home. I'm an adult now. I have my own home and I have my own family. The context of this text is a family. It is a nuclear unit. As long as your mother and your father are providing for your living and giving you shelter, you have to adhere to their instructions. Let me rephrase it so you'll understand. If you're eating their food and sleeping in their bed and wearing the clothes that they bought you and driving their car, then you have to obey their rules. It doesn't matter if you're 30 years old. If you're living in mama's house and eating mama's food and the only door key you have is to your parents' front door and you call their basement my place, then you have to obey your parents' rules. And if you can't bring yourself to obey or you refuse to obey, then you need to move out of your parents' house. Once you're on your own physically, financially, and emotionally, then only then can you make your own decisions because this is righteousness. But when you go back into your parents' home, you have to remember that it's still mom and dad's house. Even if you're married now and you have your own place, when you step through the door of your parents' home, you have to abide by their rules and respect God's structure. You may take a drink at your house, but you don't bring it into mom and dad's house. You might cuss at your house, but you don't cuss in mom and dad's house. You might throw your coat on the floor and eat your supper in the living room in your house, but if mom and dad doesn't do it in their house, then you don't do it there either. Children are to honor their parents, verses 2 and 3. The Greek word here is timeo, which means to value highly and to hold in the highest regard. The reason that there's so little respect from our children in the streets and in the schoolhouse is because our children have not learned respect in the home. If children never learn to respect their father and their mother, they will not learn to respect other people in leadership roles. They won't respect policemen. They won't respect judges. They won't respect their boss at work. They won't respect another person's property or other people in general. And that's why Satan targets the home. He knows that if he can destroy honor in the home, then he can destroy honor in the culture and in the society. I want you to see how serious God is with this matter. Exodus 21:15 says, and he who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Verse 17 says, and he who curses his father and mother shall surely be put to death. How many of you ought to be dead right now? How many of your children today do you know that strike their father or mother? How many kids do you know who curse at their father or their mother? Can you understand why such actions required the death penalty in Israel? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that's too harsh. That's too harsh for that. And here is our problem, folks. We've forgotten about honor because somewhere in our life there's a lack of giving honor and a lack of giving respect for authority. If you think the capital punishment is too harsh for a child striking their parent or cursing their parent, then you're not seeing this like God sees it. The punishment by law for being disobedient to parents was death. But I want to point out to you, there is no record anywhere in the Bible of any child ever being put to death for disobeying their parents. Why is there no record of a Jewish child being put to death? It's not because they compromised or because they ignored God's law, but it's because the Israelite children knew better. They knew better. Don't try to tell me capital punishment isn't a deterrent. Do you honor your father and your mother? Do you hold them in high esteem? Do you respect them and reverence them? You say, but you don't know my mom and dad. You don't know my parents. But if that's your case, then listen to this because it'll probably wreck your day. In 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 23 and 24, it says, from there Elisha went up to Bethel. As he was walking along the road, some boys came out from the town and jeered at him. Get out of here, Baldy, they said. Get out of here, Baldy. I take it that he was bald. But the Bible says he turned around and he looked at them and he called down a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And then 2 bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys to death. Disrespect brings death. That's what God's trying to show you. Many of our kids today are dying because they have never learned respect, and it's costing them their lives. But we don't get it. We don't get it. One mother said in a news interview on TV here a while back, she said, it's getting to where my son can't rob a grocery store without me worrying about somebody shooting him. Yeah, I know, my head about exploded too. Our kids don't respect authority. They don't respect speed limit signs. They don't respect traffic signals. They don't respect the law. They don't respect their own bodies or the bodies of other people. They abuse sex and alcohol and drugs because respect has not been taught in the home. And now they're out of control. That's why God says, honor your parents. But how do you honor your parents? You honor them emotionally. You render to them praise. When was the last time you praised your father or your mother? Oh, but you don't know my mom and dad. They were terrible parents. It doesn't matter. You don't have to honor them for the way they did their job. But God requires that you honor them for the office that they hold. You honor them verbally. You speak to them with respect. Paul told Timothy, 1 Timothy 5:1, do not rebuke an older man sharply. He said, don't be short, don't be cute, and don't get mouthy. In other words, if he is wrong, even if he's wrong, you still respect him by the way you speak to him. You honor them spiritually by encouraging their spiritual well-being. You honor them financially. Here's a good one. You might want to take some notes. 1 Timothy 5:4 says, but if a widow has children or grandchildren, these should learn, first of all, to put their religion into practice by caring for their own family and so repaying their parents and grandparents, for this is pleasing to God. Having parents isn't about what they can leave you when they die, but it's about what you can do for them when they come to the place in their life when they need you. You have a financial responsibility for your parents when they can no longer care for themselves. That means more than a birthday card. She carried you for 9 months. She went through hours of labor. She fed you and diapered you and cared for your needs. He worked day and night to give you a home and gave you everything he had. Maybe it was defective, maybe it was faulty, but she is your mother and he is your father, and now they need you and you need to take care of them. God said it's your responsibility. It's your job. But mom and dad, they learn how to do that from watching you. They learn from watching you. I learned how to take care of my parents from my parents. I watched my dad drive 3.5 hours to take care of his mother and dad that lived on the eastern side of the state. I watched my mom drive an hour just to get my grandmother's laundry and bring it home and wash it, and then drive an hour and take it back. I watched as they took them into our home, made them a bed and a place to stay, and fed them food and didn't charge them a penny. Mom and Dad, they learn how by watching you. They learn how to be a godly child from watching you be a godly child, and how to be a godly parent from you. Honor brings blessing. This is a command of God with promise. Obedience to God's command to be godly child brings quality of life, and it brings quantity of life. Ephesians 6:3 says, so that it may go well with you and you may enjoy long life on the earth. I didn't always understand this verse. This verse speaks about the quality of life. There's one thing that's missing in our society today, and it's the quality of life. We might have luxuries and do things that are entertaining, but even then, many of us are left with a hollowness in the pit of our stomach because we know that something is still missing in our life. God says if you honor your parents, you will be granted a greater quality of life. In other words, you're going to avoid the curse. God will answer your prayers and it will go well with you. But if you don't honor them, then it won't go well with you. God won't answer your prayers and he won't honor your ministry or your work. This verse also speaks of the quantity of life. That doesn't necessarily mean old age, but it does mean that you will get all out of life that you're supposed to get. Some people can live 90 years and not get a lot of life out of life. Other people can live for 40 years and get a lot of life out of their life. To not honor your parents means that the covering of God is removed from you. You're no longer in God's shelter. Just like the prodigal son, you've moved yourself outside of the hedge. You're no longer under God's protection, but you're on your own and you're vulnerable to the enemy. So honor your parents. As their child, this is your role. And as a servant of God, this is your duty. Your life might be messed up right now because of the parents that you have messed up. You haven't been a godly child. You haven't done things God's way. You brought dishonor to your parents and you brought shame to your family. And even though God wants to, he can't bless you where you are. That means you need to set some things straight. The prodigal son or the prodigal daughter needs to repent and go home. When you leave here today, you might need to make a phone call or stop in for a visit. You might need to apologize to the parents that you have given grief. You might need to ask for forgiveness for your years of rebellion. The prodigal child might have to go home so God can restore order to your home. The best thing about all of this, though, is it works. It works. You may have done things wrong all of your life, but after hearing this message, you start doing things right. God's blessing can come into your home, and you'll discover a life, a marriage, a family that you never knew was possible, because it's all in the family. It's where it begins, and it's where it ends.